One of my favorites was Norm Cash, the big first baseman you guys had. And I think it was during the 68 season, the way I heard the story, it was one of the few slumps that you had because you didn't have very many that year. But Mayo Smith had ordered an early morning practice or something like that. I think it was like 11 o'clock. And supposedly Norm stood up in the meeting and said, "Hey, Skip, we're not done throwing up until 10 o'clock. Did that really happen?
No, not with Mayo. It happened with Charlie Dresden.
Was it Charlie Dresden?
Was the manager.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, 65. This was the year that Charlie died before he got sick.
Okay.
And we were going horribly so. I mean, we had lost everything. I mean, hell, we couldn't find the bats for batting practice. That's how bad it was. And bottom line was Charlie said, "Listen, we're flying into Minnesota tomorrow. We're going to work out tomorrow morning at 10:30. Don't anybody be late. If you're late, it's going to cost you a bunch of money." Now, does anybody have any questions? And Norm Cash in the back of the room raised his arm and said, Charlie. What, Norman? What the hell do you want? Charlie, I don't get you throwing up till 11. What do I do?
And, of course, your story with Denny McLain, with Mickey Mantle is phenomenal, too. I think it was the last year that Mickey had played. As you said, he was your idol, and you were gonna give him a present, I guess, right?
Well, I tried. I mean, the bottom line was he still had to hit it, and it's, anybody who thinks it's easy to get up at home plate and to hit a home run at your beck and will, you got another thing to learn, because going to a batting cage tonight, see how many balls you can really hit hard in a batting cage. It's very difficult to do, which tells you even more so how good the Mickey Mantles in the game of baseball really were. I mean, when he was healthy, he was the most sensational athlete I ever saw.
Exactly. How did that all come about, the story itself, if you could tell that one, Denny?
Well, make a long story short, we were up 6-1. There were 2 outs, I think, in the 9th inning, nobody on. And I called, actually, I always thought it was Freehand, but unfortunately it was Jim Price. And Price came out to the mound. I called Price out to the mound, and I said, "Listen, I'm going to get Mantle a chance to hit one." He said, "You're going to do what?" I said, "I'm going to let Mantle hit one." I said, "He needs one more to tie the all-time Yankee list. I mean, he just needs one more." He says, "Oh, no, you got to be kidding." I said, "What do you mean kidding?" I said, "God, he can't hit a 7-run homer, And he says, "I don't care. I'm not going to be a part of it." I said, "Oh, okay." All of a sudden, we're Mr. Integrity, huh? He says, "I'm not getting involved." He said, "We'll get in trouble for this one." I said, "Okay, all right." And I'm the kind of guy that used to tell hitters, guys I was having trouble with, I'd tell hitters what was coming, just not to waste my time. So Mantle come up to the plate, threw the first pitch, he took it, won. And he looked down at Price and said, "What the hell is he doing?" And Jimmy said, "I don't even want to tell you. I don't want to tell you what he's doing." So the next thing that happens is I throw another one. He takes it again, strike 2.
Jeez.
And Mantle looks down at Price and says, "Is he going to do it again?" And Price says, "Why don't you just," he says, "Jimmy, you go talk to McLain. He's a kind of a lunatic to begin with, but you go talk to him and you ask him if he's going to do it again." So here comes Price again. And the home plate umpire was Emmett Ashford. He come right with him. And he wanted to know if I was going to do it again. And I said, "Guys, just everybody be ready." But you know what, guys? I now know I'm not working with a Rhodes Scholar. I thought Mantle was smarter than this. So the bottom line is, Price goes back behind home plate. I throw another pitch. He swings at it. He fouls it off into the right field seat someplace foul. And then I just get down at him, and I said, "What in the hell do you want to pitch?" And then he put his head out over the plate, and boom, he hit the home run. And as they say, it's history.
That's classic. I know we only have a few seconds left, Danny. I want to get to a couple of things. First of all, to close out your career and then what you're doing now. With the Tigers, you were part of that big multiplayer deal. Your feelings, the Tigers, Jim Campbell and that crew were notorious for throwing nickels around like manhole covers, and you guys never really got paid, any of you, what you were deserved. Your feelings on the Tiger organization at that time, as you were leaving it, and as you got the news you were being traded?
Well, I didn't have much to say. I was disappointed I was going to Washington Senators. That was my biggest hang-up, because I knew first of all, Campbell knew I was hurt, and I thought it was. And listen, Jim Campbell and I think each other. I mean, we were very, very dear friends. But the bottom line was, he didn't tell the Washington Senators and Bob Short, who owned the club, that I had a bad arm. And when I got over there and Short found out about it, he tried to rescind the trade, by the way, and get his money back and everything else. Of course, unfortunately, he couldn't do it because I would have been more than happy to go back to Detroit. But the bottom line was Jim Campbell pulled a fast one on him, and Bob Short never forgave him. Of course, Bob died a few years later and moved the club to Texas and wound up being a very rich guy down there. But, yeah, that was a bad time. And pitching with the Washington Senators and playing for Ted Williams, listen, I've been in jail, as you know, and playing for Ted Williams was worse than being in jail, guys. It was one of the longest years of my life, and he just wasn't a very pleasant guy.
That's right. You've written 2 books. I have them both. Strikeout you wrote several years ago, and then I told you I wasn't perfect. I believe is the title of the second one. I have that one as well, and it really goes into a lot of your troubles, and I want to value your time here. But talk to us about what you're doing now, Denny.
Well, I'm in the steel business. I've been in the steel business for quite some time, and you know, we work at it every day. We try to make a living, and we move on. So it's you know, we buy and sell steel. We sell scrap steel. We buy new. So if anybody's got any steel out there they want to sell, give us a call.
Fantastic. Are you still doing radio? I know you had a radio show for a long time.
You're in play. Yeah, you're in play column.
It's funny you asked that. Out of the blue yesterday, I got a phone call, and I can't tell you any more than this.
Okay.
But out of the blue yesterday, I got a phone call about would I be interested in doing a morning show again.
Fantastic.
You know, I don't know. I mean, really? I'm very old now, 66.
I'm hoping they do. I'm hoping they do your life story, Denny, as a movie, and I want to play the part.
Well, I don't know about that, but you know, we've talked to a lot of people doing a movie, and you know, the right piece hasn't come along yet. It may one day, but I may be long gone by then.
So you may be.
As Ernie would say, long gone.
Yeah, exactly. It's too bad we lost Ernie. What your memories? I know you have a lot of memories of Ernie, but what sticks out the most about Ernie to Denny McLain?
Ernie was just the most human being of any person I've ever met in my life. Ernie and I we shared something very huge together in our life, our music. Ernie wrote thousands of songs, and we always tried to come up with the next big one. Because when we were on the road, part of every road trip, Ernie and I would get together, and we would either go down to the hotel bar, which was closed during the day, and we would work through some of the material he'd write and what have you. So we never had the big one, but we sure had a lot of laughs. Well,
Danny, I'll tell you, one of my highlights has been talking to you. You've been gracious enough to take a whole lot of time here as we lead into Tiger baseball. And I'll tell you what, I always thought that you would be a great analyst with the Tigers. Take the job of your old compadre there, Jim Price. I thought you'd be phenomenal in that position. You ever thought about that?
Well, years ago, I was offered the color commentary job with the White Sox, and then some other clubs reached out for a couple of years, but. You know, I just didn't want to travel again. I want to travel when I want to travel. And it just, the lifestyle is too difficult. People may not think so. You stay in great hotels and great food and everything else. But I want to tell you, there's a tremendous strain being away from home all the time, as most of us know. And, you know, I had done it for 10, 11 years, and I didn't want to do it anymore.
All right.
Hey, Denny, this is Mike talking. I want to thank you for making a dream come true for my partner, John Russell, here, because, you know, he is such a big 68 Tigers fan, and to see the smile on his face for the last 40 minutes, I can't describe it to you.
It's just been like Disneyland for me.
Much. This has been a lot of fun, and I have an awful lot of fun about these guys that I played with all those years. And, I mean, those are the fondest memories that I will ever have in my life, and they're all good guys, every one of them. Even Lolich. I mean, you know, the bottom line with Lolich was he had the greatest stuff I ever saw day in and day out, and if somebody had just were able to teach him how to pitch, he'd have won 700 games.
Hey, Danny, it's been a pleasure. Thanks a lot for everything, man. We appreciate it. Stay well, okay?
All right, guys. You have a great week. Thank you.
Thanks,
too.
Denny.
Bye-bye. Denny McLain. There's never been any like Denny McLain, huh? Man.
John, come up off the floor now.
Phenomenal.
What a person.
Man.
What a personality.
He certainly is. And, Mike, what exactly is Denny doing now with In Play Magazine?
Well, right now you can catch Denny McLain on his weekly sports column featuring the Detroit Tigers on his the In Play Magazine over in the Detroit area. So you can look at it on the internet or subscribe to the magazine, but he has a weekly column on the Detroit Tigers on In Play magazine.
And we want to thank Jack Rosenberg for helping set that whole interview up. We appreciate that, and that will do it for us on this edition of the Shoreline Sport and Spine Power Hour.